This PC was built in April. This one was built this week in August. They cost the same amount, but one is significantly faster thanks to GPU prices coming back to roughly normal. For $500, we're gonna show you what the best bang for buck PC you can build right now is, and you get to include a GPU this time. So with the market ever changing, this $500 build is what we can actually get today, and it might change for you, especially since we got some killer deals like with the SSD, which I'll get to in a second. But the base of the PC is going to be the Intel Core i3-10100F. It's 4 cores, 8 threads, does not have an integrated GPU, so we have to actually have a dedicated one, which, in case you've been paying attention over the last 2 years, $500 PC guides have not had a GPU as of late. So this is a change, and a good one at that. It's going into a refurbished motherboard from Newegg, the Gigabyte B460M, which we picked up for $66. We also have 16 gigs of RAM. It's the Oloy DDR4 3200 megahertz, only costs us $53. RAM is at a great cheap price point right now. Powering everything, a $45 power supply, the EVGA 600BR. It actually might be a little bit bigger than what we need for this PC build, but at $45 is kind of hard to go wrong. For the case, we're stuffing everything into the Thermaltake Versa H18 tempered glass side panel, plenty of ventilation grills on the front for airflow. Hopefully we get decent temperatures out of this. We also picked up a fan of the Up Here 120mm white 5-pack fans for only $16 in order to swap everything out to keep everything visually similar. Now, as I mentioned, we got a killer SSD deal. The Samsung 970 EVO Plus. This typically costs around $70 in case you're looking to get between 250 and 500 gigs. We found this 1 terabyte drive at the same price of only $69.99. We're getting over double the capacity for the price of what you can get this for new. It was a steal. So just make sure when you're building a $500 PC build, especially since this is budget, don't necessarily always decide to go with new parts because you can find some great deals on used stuff. SSDs, I'm more than likely okay with, especially since it's a newer Samsung one. The lifespan's probably not too degraded. Now, where you might not want to always go used is on the GPU, especially with the one we chose today, which is the RX 584 gig. And that is because these GPUs heavily used for mining, but not so much the 4 gigs as of late because Ethereum moved past 4 gigabyte GPUs. So it likely was used a little less for mining than you would expect. This version is the MSI Armor. It's black and white, fitting our color scheme, and should power this system to be mighty fine at 1080p gaming. Today's video is sponsored by Drop and their brand new Sense 75 keyboard. This is Drop's take on the very popular 75% keyboard form factor, and boy, howdy, are they coming out swinging with this one, because it has some amazing features that I am salivating over. And that's because the Sense 75 is a result of them listening to their community and a careful design process to make their best keyboard yet. With an elastopolymer gasket to make sure that the typing experience is perfect, to the knob that's on the keyboard that's knurled perfectly, the CNC clean weighted case, the underside RGB glow, the chamfered aluminum edges, the back plate waits for you to get it customized to how you want it to feel. And you can also get it with an E-white case or a black case, and it comes with the stock Holy Panda switches, which we have here in the office, which are a Drop exclusive, and they feel and sound phenomenal. It also has phantom stabilizers and sound dampeners to make sure that your typing experience with your keyboard is absolutely premium. And the first 500 people who pick up the Sense 75 will get a free MT3 keycap set of their choice, so you can check that out at the link in the video description. This Sense 75 is looking amazing. It definitely looks like one of Drop's best keyboards yet, and you should check it out down below. Big thanks to Drop for sponsoring today's video. So with the PC assembled, I have a few regrets that I want to talk about. The CPU cooler, we should have just spent $20 and gotten a nice white one to fit in with the aesthetic. Number 2, if we were going to keep the Intel CPU cooler, we probably should have wrapped the cables in order to make it not look as terrible. Number 3, we probably should have vinyl wrapped the power supply down here to make it a little bit more black and white. There are improvements that we could have made. I'm definitely happy with the PC, but for like $5 to $20, we could have made it a little bit better. But it is still significantly better in performance than this $500 PC build that we did all the way back in April. This is only a Ryzen 5 5600G system. It has the same 16 gigs of RAM. I believe it also has a 500 gig SSD. It is not fully kitted out like this one is. And even going before April of this year, we were able to build a PC for $500 that had a 970, so stepping up to the RX 580 584 gig that's in here actually made it quite a bit better and more competent at 1080p gaming. Prices are coming down. 4 cores, 8 threads, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and an RX 580 for under $500 is definitely somewhere we were not at 6 months ago. So let's take a look at the gameplay performance of this new $500 build. We tested all of our games at 1080p medium, and in Valorant we came in with an average FPS of 137.4. Dropping it a little bit will get you to 144 FPS in case you have a high refresh rate monitor.
Placing swamp grenade. Recalling my bot. Reloading.
In SpiderMan, the new release that's on Steam, we averaged to get 57.9 FPS. In God of War, we got 60.4 FPS. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, we averaged 85.8 FPS.
All right, time to go.
And then in Cyberpunk 2077, we hit 42.4 FPS, a little lower than I would have liked, so maybe dropping it down to 1080p low would be a better situation for this 580. And lastly, in Fortnite, we managed to hit 76.8 FPS average, again at 1080p medium, which is more than enough for a 60 Hz monitor. And then for the Thermaltake Versa H18 case, the airflow was quite good with the 5 fans that we added in here. We were able to maintain CPU temperatures of just 59 degrees Celsius and GPU temperatures of just 70 degrees Celsius. So for $500, I'm actually really happy with this build. We're getting closer to normal. I'm very excited for what budget PC builds are gonna look like as the next generation of cards come out, and hopefully these ones get pushed to being even lower in price. We made a few mistakes with regards to the aesthetics that we'll be upgrading for our next PC build, so be sure to get subscribed for that. In the meantime, why don't you go watch the video where we built this PC. Fiverr actually picked out the parts on this with the 5600G. You can check out that video right there.